Hey, everybody, so much for joining us for another webinar here, educational webinar from Shweiki Media, and my name is Ryan Dohrn, and one of the things you'll notice rolling forward is that we're doing a lot of work with ad sales training and ad sales strategy. So a part of my new expanded company is 360 Ad Sales Training, but it's still me, just good old Ryan Dohrn over here at Brain Swell Media, but we have a real focus on sales training and revenue strategy. And one of the biggest questions that I get asked on a very regular basis is, hey, Ryan, will you review our media kit? Take a look at our media kit and tell us what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. And so today we're going to talk in great detail something to call the new face of media kits. You know, media kits basically are our calling card and have been for many years. And so having an accurate and good media kit is foundational. Now, one of the things that many people say is that the media kit is fundamental to your success, and I actually disagree with that. I think that a media kit is a foundational item. However, the way that media kits were designed in years past are not working very well today because we live in a society that's overstimulated. We live in a society that requires much briefer information. And brevity is not something that most salespeople are good at. Brevity is not something that most publishers hold, close to heart. And so media kits typically are too long, they're too broad, they're not online, and they're not focused for what today's advertisers and today's agencies actually want. And so what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the new face of media kits, and I'm going to show you some online examples of some companies and what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong. First question for you today as we learn together, simplify. What does simplify mean to you? Me, it means to remove distractions. Now, let's think about this for a second. How did our first grade teachers do it? I mean, how is it that you learned? You learned more between ages of birth and 5 than any other time in your life. You learn a complex language. You learn massive amounts of motor skills. What did your first grade teachers do to help you learn better? Well, they went slow. They used repetition. They used visuals, and they used a lot of repetition. And as we talk through our media kits today, one of the things that most media kits have is what? A lot of it. And so if we know that 86% of people learn visually, we believe that we retain 8% of what we see. Why is it that most of our media kits are very text-heavy and people talk the majority of the time on a sales call? 86%, scientists say, 86% of people learn visually, retain 80% of what we see. What that tells me is we need to do a lot less talking, we need to do less text, and we use a lot more. Now, redesigning media kits with my customers, and the example you see on your screen is what I refer to as a data sheet. Now, note this is a fictitious example. This is not an example of any magazine. The cover you see in the right-hand corner is simply just there as a placeholder, okay? And I just happened to be in Dallas here over the last couple of weeks, and that just happened to be where my mind was at. So please understand this is just a fictitious example. So what I like to do when I'm redesigning media kits these days is I want to focus on lots of visuals, and I want to focus on simplicity. So I want to really focus on showing exactly who our reader is with visuals. You're going to notice in my examples today, you're going to see a ton of visualization. Now, many publishers, many salespeople would think, well, Ryan, if we tell our potential prospect, tell our potential advertiser, this is who our audience is, they would believe me. It's not that they don't believe you. Remember, your media kit is an educational tool and it's a sales tool. So one of the first pages as I'm presenting things, most of the time electronically. If I'm going in person, this page might be printed out. I want to show that I have families. I want to show that I have Caucasian families. I want to show that I have African American families. I'll show them shopping I want to show them the age of their children. I want a nice big box that says, we are read by 35,000 affluent Dallas homeowners each month. That's more people than you could fit on the front stretch at Texas Motor Speedway. Well, in this Dallas example, that's a visual that I want you to understand that the majority of advertisers simply do not understand the size of your audience. Say 35,000, sure. Is 35,000 a big number? It is. But do advertisers accurately understand the size of your audience? The answer is no. And that's why, since we know we retain 80% of what we see, we need to give them an example. Let's say you're an equestrian magazine. You might show a lot of horses in a pasture as an example. If you are a magazine that focuses in on motorsports, this might be a great example. If you're a hiking magazine, what can you show? Lots of hikers that are on a field or climbing a mountain. You have to find a visual that makes sense to you. If you're a city and regional magazine, you might be able to use a local football stadium. Now, a concept we've talked about before, but I very rarely see deployed in media kits. Now, this is your data sheet. It's one of the first pages of your media kit. And then on the right side, you want to stick with about 10 pieces of data, 10, and that's it. Not more. If 10 is good, isn't 20 better? No. When I'm designing a media kit, I want to think about this. It's just like great landscaping. Typically, less is more. We know for a fact, when reviewing media kits with business owners, that they tend to tune out fairly quickly. If they gave you a big, thick book to read, or they gave you a pamphlet, which one are you going to gravitate towards more quickly? Now, let's pause for a second and also talk about a fundamental fact of media. Most of the time, media kits get thrown in the trash. And why is that? It's because a media kit is not designed the way it should be. A media kit should be designed to inform. Should be designed to be taken from one person to another person, maybe the marketing director to the owner of the business, to help them make a decision to buy advertising from you. So it be educationally focused, but it needs to be simple and forward. Let's think about this for a second. Let's just think, if you are a marketing director and you are taking this media kit, which is 4 or 5 pages, printed on some really nice heavy stock paper, so it looks beautiful, and you're taking that media kit over to a marketing director, you expect them to take it to the business owner and help in the sales process. The business owner, who's a busy person, looks at that and goes, oh gosh, this is about like a book. You're really going to spend the time to read through all that you have written? No, they're not. If the answer is yes, I'm here today to tell you that unfortunately, love you, mean it, but wrong. What we want to do when we're printing our media kits, when we're making PDFs of our media kits, I'm still a big fan of the printed media kit. I mean, I love to send out media kits, to people electronically, but when I'm meeting somebody at a trade show or I'm seeing them in person, what I want is a 2 or 3 page media kit that can be separated very, very easily. It contains several one-sheets. This data sheet is mission critical to your success. Look at it. It's simple, it's straightforward, and it follows that kindergarten or first grade mentality. And what is that? Simple visuals, a lot of repetition. You can go and you can put 20 pieces of data on this page. If 50% of them aren't read, then the point is missed. So it's so important that when you put together your data sheet, it's something that's very easy to be passed along. Very often we focus on creating this gorgeous, beautiful media kit. I recently had a publisher of mine on the West Coast say, we have one of the most beautiful media kits you have ever seen. And I looked at the media kit, and I said to her, you're right, it is gorgeous. It tells me nothing on how I'm going to buy from you. You've not bought from me. Okay, what second page look like? The second page, perhaps this is the second page, has got my pricing grids. Now, sometimes publishers say to me, no, wait a minute, where is the frequency rate grid? Case of media kits that involve as much frequency pricing grids. Now, it doesn't mean that frequency pricing doesn't exist. What it means is that in many cases we're taking what I refer to as the path of least resistance. We're taking these packages and we're presenting them in vibrant ways. If you print this out, if you print this on a nice head stock with nice, really vibrant colors, this is really going to jump off the page at somebody. Focusing in not on what it says here, but what it is in terms of visually being able to draw in somebody so they can look at it and go, you can say as a salesperson, okay, as a gold package sponsor, receive a half-page ad in our magazine. Also going to be included in our virtual edition. We're going to give you 2 mentions on our Facebook feed. We're going to stick you up on our YouTube channel if you have a promotional video ready to go. And if you don't, then we have someone that can help you with that. And we're also going to include you in one of our e-newsletters. Here's how much money you save, etc., etc. So far in my media kit, what do I have? I've got a data sheet and I've got a pricing grid. Now, what's the next page that seems the most obvious to most folks? Well, the next page for most of you is specs, print specs, and things like that. What I'd share with you is print specs are things, or aspects, sizes, deadlines. The next thing is that right there can come after the sale. It's a link on your website. The next people is the editorial calendar. And the editorial calendar is so important to most folks is that's the lifeblood of your business. Enough, the majority of people aren't buying the magazine, okay, they love the editorial, but buying the magazine because of your editorial calendar. The editorial calendar is important. You can use it as a salesperson, as a springboard to get people into the issue. Be the first thing that you present. You want to present your data sheet, you want pricing grids in as simple of a format as possible. Remember something. Publishers of America did a survey about media kits and about rates and rate cards. Greater than 50% of the people reviewing those frequency pricing grids actually did not understand what it meant. Instead, there is an approach that's simple like this, which is some type of pricing grid, and then if you want to do your frequency grid because you feel like you have to, okay, then you can maybe include it in one of the final pages. But a frequency grid typically is confusing, is not visually pleasing, and doesn't include all the multimedia that you need. Remember something, we're moving into a society, or we're in a society of self-service sales. And sales is not necessarily a phrase that I coined, but we're looking to create a path. You want the potential to follow on your Media Kit website or through the Media Kit you're handing them. Well, let's talk for a second about what happens when someone comes to your website, because that's the primary way that they're going to get to. Most people do. Most publishers don't put their Media Kits online. I'm going to share with you a way that you can do it. You can make it easy. You can help the sales process. Service sales means that the individual is going to come to your website and click on a link to go to your advertise page, and you're going to guide them through the process to make it so much easier for your sales team to complete that sale. If it's perfect, if self-service sales is done right, the salesperson does get in contact with that individual, the cool is going to be about when do you want the ad to start, or maybe some questions about some other specifics. But they're not going to be asking about the audience. They're probably not going to be asking about pricing. They're going to be asking for some other details beyond that, because self-service sales is all about helping advertisers help themselves, teaching, creating a path on your website for them to follow. I'm going to show you an example here in a second. So this might be a typical path. So when they come to your website, they're going to click on an advertise link. Guys. Then it's going to take them over to a lead gen form, a simple form, immediate promise. Fill out this little form. We're going to immediately allow you to download our complete media kit. Now let's pause for a second. Some of you are already saying, Ryan, I can't give them the rates because I need to explain the rates to them. that either means your rates are crazy expensive or you've done a terrible job explaining who you are on the website. Somebody else might say, well, yeah, but I don't want my competitors to get a hold of my rates. If you think your competitors are so dumb that they can't get a hold of your media kit, I've got some land to sell you. I've got a bridge to sell you, okay? Your competitors are smart enough to use an email account and a fictitious business name to get your media kit. Not putting it online means that you are not playing on the playground, even in the same city as most of your competitors. It's online, can be placed online in a way that they're protected and beneficial to advertisers. All right, so they've come to your website, they've clicked on an advertise link. They're then going to be taken to a lead gen form, a lead generation form. We're going to ask them for a couple pieces of data. Then, after that, you have an immediate promise of a download. Then it's going to take them to a testimonial video. That's a testimonial video from one of your customers that says how absolutely awesome advertising with your magazine and website has been for them. Then there's going to be a next button. It's going to take them over and let the advertiser know all the educational opportunities you have available to them, their business. You might have Tuesday Lunch and Learn webinars. You might have live sales training. You might have marketing classes. You might have a social media expert that they can meet with. Then they're going to be taken over to that data sheet that we talked about, a real nice explanation of your audience, real explanation of your audience. Then we're going to take them with package offerings. Then give them a special deal or a special offer. Let me show you a little bit about what this looks like on some web. Let me take you over to one of my favorite little websites here. This is holistichorse.com, and Karen has been a customer of mine for a long time, and she does a really, really nice job. You can see that she's got a lot of advertisers, and she's got videos in her digital edition, and she has a lot of reader surveys and things like that. Let's go bottom here. Let's click on the Advertise with Us tab or link. Take you over to a form, and our media kit is online and ready for you to download. To provide you with the highest level of service, please complete this simple form, and the media kit will be immediately available to you. Okay, the key right here, guys. Immediately available to you. For their full name, company name, email, phone, and kind of who they are, and click Submit. That's it. Now, I've had customers very similar to Karen here that have actually don't know when people are downloading their media kit. They just don't know because they make it readily available online for anybody. You're out on lead generation opportunities, and that's a problem. It's really a problem, guys. You want to collect leads. Now, you have to have this immediate promise, though. Okay, so if you're checking your email right now, not listening, pay attention for a second, okay? This needs to be immediately available to them. You need to make this promise. You need to make that promise. Otherwise, what's going to happen? They're going to think someone's going to call them within 24 hours. Don't hate that? I hate that. When I go to a website to request information, I fill out this long, crazy form, and then it says, thank you so much. Someone will be in contact with you within 24 hours or less. Really? In today's internet age and space, you can't give me the data I need quickly and easily? Are you serious? Think about agencies. They're looking for rates right away, looking for information ASAP, ASAP, as soon as possible. What do? Well, I'll get back to you in 24 hours or less. It's not what they need. We're talking about a society here, folks, that needs instant gratification if they're going to do business with you. Now, it might be a traditional magazine. Maybe you're a traditional media company. Yourself, Ryan, I don't want to be like everybody else. And I'm saying here in the South, and it's a real simple saying, and it goes like this. The 90s are calling, and they want you back online and get these media kits online quickly. Now, when you get to the media kit online, what does it look like? What does that media kit look like? Well, here's a really cool example of the Health Magazine and health.com. When you actually go online to their online media kit, I love this example. It's awesome. Such a great example. Choice. Do you want to see information about the magazine, or do you want information about the website? Isn't that cool? That's kind of a really neat thing. You can find that you see in the URL up here, health.com is where you go. Okay. Let's go ahead and click on something about the magazine. So let's click here on the magazine. Wow, great visuals. Okay, so here's their editor-in-chief. So editorial. So if I want to download the editorial statement or editorial awards, I can. But notice something, guys. They didn't list all of those out. What are they trying to do? They're trying to be simple. They're trying to be visuals. Let's go to Advertiser Opportunities tab. Oh, I love it. Look at this. Building your brand online, events, sampling, print, retail, mobile. Man, this is great. Once again, it's got a nice visual of who the reader is, a little bit of text. Here, Audience tab. Let's click on the Audience tab. Ah, love it. So you want their MRI data. You want an audit statement. You know, if you want to download the full media kit, you can click right here at this link after you've given them the lead. Oh, look, here's rates and production. And so get the information. This is a really, really great example. Let's go over to health.com. Look, it was a JPEG or a PNG, the entire website. Looks a little busy, but the entire website. Let's go look at their audience profile here. Here it shows another nice visual. Shows that she prioritizes her life. 84% plan to see the doctor in the next 6 months, et cetera, et cetera. Now, this is really nice. You go here to content. It's going to talk about the content that's there. See how clean this, guys? Super clean. This is over health.com. Advertising opportunities. It's going to list out all the opportunities that are available. This is just one. This is just one of the media kits that I'm going to show you today that's online. And this one's from health.com. And it's straightforward and it's simple. Now, most of the time you can create this as a microsite. I shouldn't have a whole lot of money. You can build this in Joomla, Joomla. You can build this in Drupal. You could go over to oneand1.com and build a really simple media kit website. A lot of my customers actually have, like, for example, let's just say your Country Roads magazine. You might have crmediakit.com or something like that. You can just build out a simple little microsite if you want to. Okay, let's go at a couple others. Let's go look at Departures magazine. So Departures magazine has got a little bit of your simple navigation. They here on the left, they focus in on what are their four main 6 covers here, rather than 6 covers. They're focusing in. So if you want to see audience, let's click on audience. So here it's going to show. What's it going to show here? Oh, here's audience. So reader profile. Let's click on the reader profile. Oh, and look, you can open it up in PDF format. That's pretty cool. Let's click on circulation. Here we go. It's going to go to their BPA audit that you can download as a PDF. That's okay. It's pretty cool. I mean, didn't you like the health.com example better? I mean, I like the fact that as I clicked on tabs, that I could actually get more of that information. So I can't say that I find this to be an awesome online media kit, but I would tell you that in most cases it's better than some that I've seen. Here's general rates, so you can download a PDF of their general rates. But one thing about this Departures example, and the reason I showed it is because I think it's fully utilizing the power of the web. I think that it is something it's okay, it's fine, but it's really not like health.com. It's really not like Sports Illustrated, for example. Now, some of you are already saying, well, I'm not Sports Illustrated. I can't do what Sports Illustrated does. Remember something, guys. The web is the great equalizer. You can be as big as you want to be. It doesn't cost a lot of money. It just takes a little bit of time. So here you can actually go down. You can see the overview. You can go and click on ad specs, and it's going to give you the opportunities to see PDFs of the ad specs. It's got some nice, strong visuals that are just all this is a Flash file. I mean, think about it. All this is Flash. It's just an image with another layer underneath rotating. You can click on the calendar to get the editorial calendar. Some experimental, marketing, swimsuit issue. We won't click on that right now. Are you an advertiser? Contact a specific category. Let's click on that and see where that goes. Wow, here we go. It's got a sales team, depending what you're looking for. So what they've done is they basically just created a little microsite that's all about their media kit. Now, information, here's the people to contact. Sports Illustrated is so big, they probably don't necessarily want to generate leads. Well, maybe they should. I don't know. Maybe they have so much business coming in they don't need to have a lead generation form. Let's talk lead generations forms for a second. Let's go over to the queen of all media's website. Here's Oprah. You know her? She's the queen of all media. So let's go ahead and see what she does for lead generation. Okay, so let's click on advertising. That. You want to see the kit? Give us some data. Okay, so if the queen of media does it, don't you think maybe you should be doing it? Okay, Illustrated may not be, but Oprah and their organization thinks that it's important enough that you can't probably get to anything. No, editorial, banning your reach. I mean, they'll give it to you, but this form. I would say that this form is a little long, in my opinion, but I'm not going to argue with Oprah, but I do think it's a little bit long. Somebody like the Oprah magazine, making sure that they're collecting leads before you get to their media kit, I would say that maybe you might want to consider it as well. Now, another really good example. This is Cooking Light magazine, and this would just be stunning. I'm going to leave it up for a second so that it can rotate through. I mean, I find it to be stunning. I find the visuals here to be stunning. Do you remember that conversation we had at the beginning of this call? Do you remember the conversation that we had? It was all about visuals and visualization. Let's get to that. 86% of people learn visually about your products and services and your ad rates. We retain 80% of what we see. I mean, look at this. This is absolutely beautiful. It just tells me immediately, wow, this is a vibrant, nice, really colorful magazine. Okay, so let's click on rates and specs. Bank visuals. So here's our print and tablet rates, and here's digital rates. Let's click on print and tablet and see what happens. Here's our 2012 rates and terms. Let's click on that. And then boom, look at this. Now, the interesting about this, okay, if you look at it real carefully. So everybody stick with me now. Do you notice that they've taken their pricing grids and they're giving you 1X rates right at the top? They're making these pricing grids as simple as possible, people. I swear, some of your rate card pricing grids, I mean, it would require, literally a PhD to cycle through those and read them correctly. You do realize, right, that you're dealing with people that are just business owners, maybe even new marketing directors. Just because you think reading a pricing grid is easy doesn't necessarily mean it's so. Look at this. I mean, this is really, really great stuff. Really easy. I want a full page, 4-color ads, 129,000. How about that for a page rate? I'd sell that all day long. Here's their terms and conditions. It's just so great. So let's look at our consumer. Okay, and so let's look at our digital consumer. Cool. Love it. Look at that visual. Isn't that cool? Look at how this is laid out. Okay, 74% women, 89% attend college, 47% have kids. I mean, what this is designed as, and I know this just as a fact because I've seen it, is this is one sheet right here. It's something that can be printed out. It's something that can be taken and provided at a meeting. Look at how simple that is. If you compare that to some of you that are on this webinar today, to some of yours confusing media kits that you have, this is strong. This is really, really strong, really nice. Let's go over to digital. Let's get the digital numbers here. Digital. Here, I'm going to click on digital. Maybe it's not working. Or maybe we are in digital. Let's go on the audience leader here. So this is shows where they're an audience leader. Again, some really strong visuals. Here's Cooking Light. I refer to this as a comp sheet, to be honest. This is where you're doing a comparison to you and your competitors. So I think that's really great. Rates and specs, we went there. This is just a really, really nice media kit. When you look, across the board, here's another media kit for My Recipes. And again, strong visuals, simple text. Let's go to the editorial overview. So it's going to give you the editorial overview. Again, nice, big, strong visuals. Are you guys getting some ideas here? Remember something. You do want a printed media kit. You just might not need to print, 50,000 of them because you have so much of it online. But you do still want to have printed materials, a nice, glossy stock, so that you can hand it to somebody that's going to look impressive. Now, a lot of people, what they're doing is they're printing these out on their inkjet printers. And, guys, it just doesn't look good. I mean, it just doesn't look high-end and professional. And you're working with a company like Shweiki that's got such an amazing press that they work with and such amazing pricing. It's really, it's very, very affordable for you to have these media kits in one sheets printed off in such a way that they're going to look really, really nice. And so I think it's very, very important. Even a laser printer can't duplicate how nice printing, if you do it, with a professional printer like Shweiki is going to look. Now I want to show you an example of an online media kit that I think is atrocious. Magazine, you may be familiar with them. I mean, they are a top 100 consumer brand. I think this media kit's horrible. If you look at it, I have no idea where to go. I mean, it's so small. I mean, I'm only 40 years old, and I'm like squinting to try to figure out where is it, what do you want me to do here? So I guess this is demographics. So if I click on it, what happens? It's going to open PDF. I mean, I can't even see these things. And I find fault with this. It doesn't lead me anywhere. It doesn't tell me what they want me to do. It doesn't collect any type of lead from me. As I look, honestly, it just really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I'm going to show that to you because, oftentimes it's, great to show good examples and you don't ever see any bad examples. All right, let's go here to In Style magazine. Now, I wanted to bring this up because I wanted to show you, in my opinion, this is a big magazine, obviously, but I don't like the way that this lays out. First of all, I don't like the fact that all of the navigation is over here on the right. The majority of people read left to right and top to bottom. Okay? As I'm looking at this, I'm just thinking, this is not working out for me. I don't even really know where to go. The other thing is, it's really, really boring. It's lacking visual appeal. I'm not excited. When someone sees your media kit online, people, I mean, don't you want them to get excited? I mean, don't you be like, wow, this is really, really great. I mean, when I look over at Sports Illustrated, I'm seeing all kinds. I'm seeing tons and tons of visuals. I'm seeing a big button here for integrated programs. I'm seeing football players coming in and out. This is all stuff that your graphics department can help you put together. Again, looking over here at cooking lights. I mean, wow, this is just some really, really strong visuals. I mean, you can go to iStockPhoto.com. So many great websites where you can buy some really nice, visually pleasing and stimulating information. Stimulating photographs. Online media kits really need to look and resemble a microsite because it's just so important. It also allows you to be able to update that media kit on a real regular basis. Now, one of the things we didn't spend any time on was testimonial videos, and maybe in another class I'll have an opportunity to play some of those for you. Just in this format, it's a little hard to play that. So what I like to do is actually walk people through. Now, you'll notice that I was over at health.com, coastalliving.com, the SImediakit.com. I'm going to leave this on the screen for a little bit because you can actually pause this webinar and you'll be able to write down some of these URLs. So if you want to jot these down, then you would just simply click pause, pause on the screen. Now, another two places where you can see a lot of online media kits. One of them is summitmedia.com. /media kit, and you can go over to the Cosmopolitan Media Kit, which is great. There's this Time Inc. link, so don't forget you can always pause this webinar, and then you can look at those URLs as well. Let me take you over there real quick. This is Time Inc.'s this website here. So here are all kinds of media kits, and as you scroll down, you can see CNN Money, and you just simply click on View Media Kit, and it's going to take you over to what their online media kit looks like, and you'll see that a lot of the examples that I gave today are actually listed here. What are some of the takeaways from our presentation today? First of all, it's very, very important for you to understand that you need to do things differently than you've ever done them before. If you are doing a media kit this year that's going to look real similar to last year's media kit, and it doesn't follow some of the things I've talked about today, you're probably doing yourself a disservice, and you're probably actually costing your company a lot of money. You're spending money you don't need to spend. How many pages do most media kits today, including the front and cover, actually have? Typically somewhere between 4 and 6 pages. Any more than that, it's just basically stuff's going to get left, in the trash. Now, if you are going to create a new age media kit like I'm talking about online, every example that I showed you today, with the exception of Sports Illustrated, because of some of the things that they have going on, should be able to be created for less than a couple $1,000 with some of the websites that I mentioned earlier. The big thing for you to consider is simplify, simplify, simplify. Use a ton of visuals to be able to explain your point and help people understand who your audience is. Remember, we retain 80% of what we see. Focus in on simple approaches that use a lot of visuals, that don't include a ton of text, And remember something, in dealing with agencies, in most cases, all they're going to want is your pricing. Now, to that end, will agencies buy package bundles? The answer is it really depends on the agency, to be honest. Some agencies will buy based on packages. Most just want to know your cost per thousand. Now, a point quickly on the data sheet. I like to have a front cover of my media kit, and I like to be able to slip data sheets in and out based upon who I'm calling on. For example, this data sheet here might be designed for restaurant owners. So you want data that's specific to restaurant owners. If you're going to be going to a lawyer or to some type of service provider, you might want a data sheet that has numbers that will mean something to that restaurant owner. It's one of the reasons that the traditional media kit of days gone by is actually not, quite as effective as it once was. A, you've got all kinds of multimedia that you're trying to pitch, okay? And B, it's generic. And you have the ability now you don't need to be generic. You can be a lot more specialized in what it is that you're presenting. Last, we wrap up, don't forget about self-service sales. You want to get people on your website to come and click the Advertise tab, collect a lead from them, give them an immediate promise that the media kit's going to be downloaded, and then walk them through some type of path, okay? Have some testimonial videos. Make sure they understand your company offers educational opportunities. Make sure the data sheet is readily available. And I've come to a lot of your media kits online, and you can't even print things out. I mean, you don't even have a PDF available of your information. What are your package offerings? What are your special offers that you have available? In the end, one of the reasons that I named a portion of my company 360 Ad Sales is that we have to have a full circle approach, okay? A circled approach to what it is that we're doing. And the goal is we want to bring advertisers in faster, we want them around longer. And talk about that loop. The beginning of the loop many times is your media kit. And so you really need a media kit that's simple, that's straightforward, that's strong, and really, really presents a compelling visual reason for them to do business with you. Bring them into that circle at the top. Then a lot of the training that you're learning from these webinars and in the past and in the future through Shweiki, and keep them longer. You want a nice sales circle in your business, and that's all about having a nice 360-degree coverage to your sales system. Spending some time with me today. Thanks to all the fine folks at Shweiki for allowing us all to get together on these free webinars. I wish you the best of luck in creating new media kits. And remember, if you need those kits reviewed, I'm here to help you. And as a customer of Shweiki, of course, you always receive a significant discount off of my services. And, of course, I'm always happy to meet with you the first time, absolutely free of charge, because of my relationship and your relationship with Shweiki Media. So best luck as you design your media kits for this upcoming year, and I think this conversation is very, very timely. So best of luck, and if I can be of help, please reach out anytime. Take care.